Hello and welcome to your weather forecast for October 1st, 2025. So, first of all, this is actually Hurricane Imelda out there. We do have somewhat of an eye out there. It continues to gradually strengthen as it moves to the northeast away from the US, and it is going to end up right over Bermuda over the next 24 hours, and they're going to get pretty much a direct hit from this. Now, here is the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center, and it is, of course, forecasting a hurricane right over Bermuda. I guess you guys are done getting lucky this year. We had Aaron go in between. Humberto just went to the west, and the G1, the other one, went to the east. Gabrielle is its name. After Bermuda, it's supposed to just move out, not going to harm anyone else. So, once we are past Bermuda, we are just fine. Right now, we are at 100 mile per hour sustained winds. Now, moving on from here, we are going to have... These two are going to move out pretty quickly. This one's already getting absorbed into the front that is coming down and taking it up. It's going to push Imelda. I think this one's a little odd. I think it will probably take the path a little bit further to the north than what the GFS is showing here. And it is going to then, again, move out and not harm anyone. Now, beyond this, our models are super uncertain, but there are two areas I do want to highlight. Now, the most immediate threat is going to be potential, as this front comes down, we're going to have a potential for a area to spin just off the coast of Florida and potentially become something. The GFS is not showing anything right now, but some of the other models are hinting at something. And then we also have a tropical wave that we're going to be watching. This thing is going to come off of Africa quite soon, and eventually, as we head into the middle of October, we're going to have to watch where this is heading. The GFS model itself, I don't trust it until... Actually, the GFS has not been very good this year in forming or track, but I do like looking at it just to see what kind of weird things it spins up. And this time it is showing a Category 4 or 5 in the Southwest Gulf, which again is not very likely. I don't think I've ever seen anything that would go this far to the west. Exception, Hurricane Delta. But again, that one was moving this way, and this one seems like it's moving straight to the southwest. In October, this would be weird. Moving on, no. It keeps shifting from model run to model run. This is one of my favorite models here. The AI models have done quite well this year. This is another deterministic one. I like it because I can see what it will actually look like. And it is just somewhat hinting at this tropical wave. It does bring it into the Caribbean, but again, we won't know until it actually forms and we're a little bit closer, if this is even a threat. Now, one other model that actually did super well with not Idalia, Imelda here, it actually hinted at it turning away like the AI models had shown way before the other models. The NavGem and the Icon also did pretty well with this. It was the Euro and the GFS that did not do super well. Again, showing it go out to sea, we're not really seeing anything with that. But it does hint at something forming over here. Nothing like super concise or strong, so that's as far out as that one goes. Here is a bunch of ensembles. Now, an interesting thing with these ensembles, it just spreads them out. It kind of stalls half of them here. I don't think that that's accurate. I think it will end up going out to sea and that not happening. But we do have hints, a little bit of a lower pressure over here in the northeast Gulf. But over here, we do have a couple that blow it up into something kind of strong, and quite a few that keep it weak. We also have a small sign from the GFS that something might form in a Gulf. Again, this is like 10 to 15 days out, so whatever this is showing, gonna change. Now, this one is a little bit more easy to understand. This is our Google Weather Lab. This is the Google DeepMind AI model, which is only based on ensembles, and it takes the average of them. Now, I'm actually going to zoom in on what Imelda is doing right here, not to confuse with Umberto there. It is showing a direct hit on Bermuda, so we'll only see by time if that is actually verified. But that is the direct center of all these ensembles. And again, none of them show it just hanging around over there. And I really believe that. Now, this one is actually also hinting. Let me unclick it. Gotta unclick it to see that. Is also hinting at something maybe developing over here. Just like we saw with the GFS. And this is that tropical wave out here. At the moment, it takes all of them pretty much away from all land, like every other storm this year. But something very interesting I have to mention, it does not show any sign of really any Gulf storms, which could be a very, very good sign. I'm really hoping for that. Now, moving on, we're going to talk about the weather over the U.S. because it is going to change as we get into the middle of October, and I want to talk about the possibility of maybe a cold blast as we head into the middle of October. This is our 12Z GFS run. The further out we get, the less real it is like. And this one shows kind of a medium area in the atmosphere. So, breaking it down, we're going to have a trough as we head into the weekend over here in the west. This might produce some light severe weather and definitely some precipitation over here. As we'll look in the future, the GFS actually does show a little bit of snow up there in Canada. But after that, we might have some sort of cutoff low in the west over here. Now, also something to watch as well. We want to watch this tropical system around this time because a lot of our models are showing this could bring some moisture to California, Arizona area, areas that don't usually get rain at this time of year. And it brings it out. It actually creates a ridge before some big trough over the northeast. Not really getting a lot of us cool. Now, the previous models had shown that. Let me just show the 6C because this is one of the most interesting ones I saw. It actually shows, again, that cutoff low. But as we get into the 8th and Thursday the 9th, again, that system. But over here, we do have potential for a trough digging down over here. But the big thing I'm seeing here is we do have a potential for a cold blast, especially over here in the northeast. I think the northeast does have a better chance. And that would be mostly a cold plunge. We do have a slight chance of severe weather. And again, showing a potential hurricane. Ignore this over the next bit. But further out, again, less accurate. Now to move into the actual model here. Alright, starting off, this is our 12Z run again. We are going to see this, again, produce mostly moisture, not really a bunch of severe weather. And actually, there is a slight chance of some snow up there in Canada if this ends up verifying. Now, we are actually going to have quite a bit of rain down here in Florida over the next little bit, as this frontal boundary is just going to stall. And that's what's going to allow this thing to try to spin up. But on the other side, we have pretty much quiet weather. And it shows some decently strong weather system move through. It gets down to 994. not weird for this time of year, but it does show another system potentially moving across. But the one I do want to highlight is on a 60. Now, moving to our 60 forecast, you can see about the same thing it's showing. It does show maybe a tiny severe weather outbreak over here, but again, this is over a week out, so who can verify that? But the most interesting thing it shows is this big cold plunge in the Great Lakes area and the Northeast, and it could potentially bring the first snow to some of our areas. Actually, we do get some lake effect rain and snow out of this, according to this model run. This is still very well could change. Now, here's the temperature anomalies over the next little bit. Right now, we are in a little bit of a below average temperatures over here in the Northeast. This heat wave that we have in the center right here is going to continue and shift to the east. The west is actually going to start to become below average, as some of it already is. And as we head into potentially 8th or 9th, we could have maybe a little cold blast there. But mostly it is showing lots of warmth until we get into the middle of the month, where we could potentially have some cooler weather. Moving on to our European model. This one, the 12Z hasn't come in yet, so I'm using the 0Z. It's a little bit outdated, but not too much. So this could very well look different when you look at it. The Euro itself does not show any snow over there. What I'm seeing with this is, again, I think there's some verification in this system, potentially some slight severe weather in the Midwest, Northeast area, potential short cold dip. But beyond that, we could have what might be a cold plunge for a tiny bit. But it seems like it's going to be quick if it happens. Now, our temperature anomaly actually keeps us cooler temperatures in the Northeast a little longer than the GFS. But soon enough, this heat wave again will come through, hopefully penetrated by some cooler air. Maybe not down in the south, but over in this area. And then we're going to potentially see all the heat get slapped out. But again, close to the end of the run, you can see the heat does come back. So in general, I do think the month of October is going to be, especially the first half, is going to be warmer than normal. Especially over the next week or so. Now, looking further out, over the next couple of days, we do not really have any severe weather to talk about. Moving on from that, I think that's all I have for you today. And thank you very much. I'll see you soon.